When we did Batman Begins, I mean, we never thought it'd end up as a trilogy. And maybe to you it's 3 movies, but you have to remember for us it turned into 12 years of our lives. A lot of stuff happened at that time. And it all started with Chris Nolan phoning me and asking me if I wanted to work with him and do a Batman movie. Of course I wanted to work with Chris, but the more I thought about it, the more I started to have a conflict that I didn't know how to resolve. How could I be so dark and, let's face it, dramatic, and at the same time be the elegant Bruce Wayne and split my personality that way? So Chris came up with the idea that I should invite my friend James Newton Howard, who is the infinitely more elegant and brilliant composer, to come on board and be Bruce Wayne. So the 3 of us set off to London. We wrote the movie. We had a great time, finished it, people seemed to like it. Didn't think much more about it. And a couple of years later, Chris came over to my studio. He started to tell me a different story. He started to tell me the story of the Joker. He started to tell me about anarchy and the punk attitude and the fearlessness. And I said to him, who's going to play this character? And he said, oh, there's this young actor called Heath Ledger. And every day when Davies came in, when every scene we saw, he was fearless. He truly was that character. He just got into that role and he was brilliantly shining from the screen at us. And we loved every moment of watching his performance, his daringness. And right towards the end of finishing the movie, we heard that our Heath had died. And it was a terrible shock. And at first I thought, in the sorrow, that everything I was doing, all the punk stuff, all the hard edges, all the rusty nails, all that stuff, the broken glass attitude, I needed to tone it all down. But I realized that the only way to really honor the man and honor the performance was to keep the edge, to keep the rust and razor blades across the rusty strings. And a while later, Chris came to us and he said, we do owe it to us, we do owe it that we finished this trilogy. And we got back into it, we got back into the inventiveness of it all. And we did Dark Knight Rises. And we had an amazing premiere in New York, and we got on a plane after the premiere. We went to London for our premiere, and I remember arriving at my flat at 7 o'clock in the morning and the phone is ringing. As a journalist, he's asking me what my reaction is to the terrible shooting that occurred during the screening of our movie in a small town in Colorado called Aurora. And I hadn't heard of it. We were on the plane all night. And of course, I said what everybody else said. I said, devastated. And all day I was walking around thinking of the victims, thinking of the loved ones they left behind, and how the word devastated was just not enough, and how words aren't my language. Then I phoned my friends in the choir that night and I said, can we record a piece of music, wordless, that feels like we're stretching our arms out across the Atlantic. We're stretching our arms out all the way to the small town in Colorado called Aurora. And we're hugging these people, we're hugging the loved ones that are left behind. And you know something? The world hasn't gotten much better yet. If you look at Syria, you look at the Middle East, you look at Paris, you look at Venezuela, where my friend is from. And on this stage, there are musicians from all nations, from all continents. And we pray nice together. And maybe there's just a little glimmer of something that can be learned. But tonight, all we want to do is pray from our hearts and stretch our arms out and embrace you, Brisbane, with our music from our hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, this piece is called Aurora.